A few days ago, we returned from China. So 28 of us, Sanims and Gosanims and Bosanims from Musangsa traveled to the center part of China for 1 week. We went to Guasan. You probably already know, in China that's considered one of the 5 great spiritual mountains. Especially it's considered the home of 제16편. And that came about because almost 1,500 years ago, a prince from Shilla went there when he was 25 and stayed there until he died at 99 years old practicing. And the Chinese believe that he was a reincarnation of 제16편. And if you're Korean, you haven't gone there yet, you really should go sometime. You may remember at the Whole World Single Flower, we had a visiting monk from China, Zheng Fasi. And he was sitting here at Kyolche in 2004 when Sung San Snim passed away. He had read some of Sung San Snim's teaching that our Zen Center in Hong Kong had produced in Chinese, and been very touched by the teaching and come here to practice and wanted to meet Sung San Snim. So at the funeral, at the cremation at Sudoksa, Chung Hak Snim was crying because he had gotten so close but wasn't able to meet Sung San Snim before he passed away. But he, after finishing the retreat, he had to return to China, but he had a great vow to try and bring Sung San Snim's teaching back to China. And the main reason for this 1 week trip to China was for the rededication of the temple that Nam Chan founded in China 1,200 years ago. The temple where he lived and taught had been completely destroyed during the 1960s, and nobody remembered where it was located. Then in the early 2000s, one scholar discovered its location, and nothing was there except a broken pagoda. When Chung Hak Snim heard about that, he realized the site was only 80 kilometers from his temple on Kuwasan. So he went to visit the site, and he was so saddened by seeing that there was almost nothing there that he made a vow to rebuild the temple. And he was given the job of the Buddhist Association to be the abbot and to do that, to rebuild the temple. So they've started it. The Buddha Hall was dedicated, the groundbreaking for the Buddha Hall was made this past week. And also a scholars conference was held. So members of Musangsa and Subang Zen Monastery in Hong Kong were invited to participate in that. So today I want to talk a little bit about Nam Chan and his teaching. And Nam Chan left 2 great teachings that are known all over the world to people who practice Sun Bogyo everywhere. First is the story about Nam Chan killing a cat. And I'll talk about that some other time. The second great teaching, which sort of became the topic of the conference, was everyday mind is the true way. So first I'll read the story that comes from. It happens during a conversation that Nam Chan Zen Master has with his #1 student, Joju. One time Joju asked Zen Master Nam Chan, "What is the true way?" Then Nam Chan said, "Everyday mind is the true way." Then Joju asked, "Then should I try to keep it or not?" Nam Chan said, "If you try to keep it, you are already mistaken. But if I do not try, how can I understand the true way?" Nam Chan said, "The true way is not dependent on understanding or not understanding. Understanding is illusion, not understanding is blankness. If you completely attain the true way of not thinking, it is like space, clear and void. So why do you make right and wrong?" Upon hearing this, Joju suddenly attained enlightenment. If everyday mind's the true way, why aren't we happy all the time? Why don't we have confidence in what we're doing? I don't know in Korean whether there's a difference in the words, but sometimes in English they translate it, ordinary mind is the true way. So what does Nam Chan mean by that, ordinary mind? You know, when you want something, usually you try and get it. And if you don't get it, most of us get angry. It's pretty ordinary. So where in that is the true way? So Namchan's not talking about that kind of mind. Because when we have that mind, we've already made something special. We've made ourselves special. We've made the object that we want special. We've made the desire itself special. Actually, we realize that originally this whole universe, everything is empty, which means that everything's not necessary. Our original substance, our true nature, is a never coming, never going. Never born, never dies. Never tainted, never pure. Each is in the Heart Sutra we chant every day, and we just chanted a little while ago. So, if we realize our true nature, then we realize everything's complete, everything's done. But if we only understand that intellectually, it won't be our reality. Actually, you know already, we attach to our body, we attach to our situation, we attach to our condition and our karma. So we don't believe moment to moment everything is complete. So we make something special and want it. So actually, this ordinary mind is not exclusively the mind that we have most of the time. Because we've already made something special in our mind. And the most special thing we make is me, I. Animals do that. They do it all the time. That's an ordinary animal mind. Everybody remembers Maya. Maya used to live here, our dog. Maya was a terrible guard dog because she liked everybody, except maybe soldiers. But one time, and she was very friendly, but one time she had a bone. Then she was off to the side chewing on her bone. Usually, if you went up to Maya's bowl of food, she didn't pay any attention to you, didn't bother her. But I wanted to see what would be her reaction if I went and tried to take the bone that she was chewing. So very slowly, I reached towards the bone. And in an instant, I'm sure before she even could think, she grabbed my arm with her teeth. She looked a little surprised by her own action. But she knew me well, and she caught herself before she really chomped down on my arm. But then she picked up the bone and went someplace else with her back to me. So this bone was special to her. Whenever I would go near her when she'd have a bone, she didn't try and bite me, but she'd pick it up and walk someplace far away. So we're also like that. We attach to our body, or our family, or our country. Look at the Middle East. The one piece of land, many groups fighting about it. One time we asked Sung San Sinim, why so much fighting in Jerusalem all the time, arguing? He said, too many gods in one country. There's 3 gods, Jewish God, Christian God, and Islam God. Maybe Buddhism's lucky. We have no God, so nothing to fight about. Which means if you don't make anything special, nothing to fight about. You don't make anything special means not holding anything in my mind. So in this conversation with Joju, Namchan says, if you completely attain the true way of not thinking, it is like space, clear and void. When we are like that, we and everything already become one. When I hit the table, that moment, just a very short moment, there's no thinking in your mind, just sound. That time, your mind, the sound, the universe, everything's just become one. That moment is very short, 1 divided by infinity second. But when there's no opposite thinking, that moment's very clear. Then you attain that moment completely. You and everything become one means everything is reflected in your mind. You can see clear here, clear. When you look outside, you just see hazy. Not that's good, that's bad, I like it, I don't like it. That doesn't appear at that moment. You become one with the tree, just green. And without a moment of thought, there's a deep satisfaction of being connected to everything, of being one with everything, of being complete. And in the same way, other people's mind is reflected in your mind. Their feelings, you're feeling. Their thinkings, you're thinking. You can experience this other person completely without anything special, without any hesitation, without any reflection. And the correct action or speech automatically appears. That's the ordinary mind that Namchan's talking about. That is already the true way. The true way is a path of correct love, great compassion, and wisdom. But it's not special. It's ordinary. When you're hungry, you eat. When you're tired, you sleep. When somebody's hungry, you give them food. When somebody's thirsty, you give them a drink. When somebody's suffering, you help them. Nobody needs to tell you that or teach you that. It automatically appears. And we already do it often during the day, but we don't appreciate that. If we really experience inside what it means to practice, then we can turn everything in our life into our practice, which means the everyday mind becomes the true way. So that's what Namchan means by everyday mind is the true way. If you're not sure how to practice with your mind, then come to the temple and learn. Then when we know how to do it inside, we can turn everything in our life into the true way. So this trip to China reminded me of this teaching. Yeah. So I want to thank my Tongyok Bosa because usually she's a 40분, but today 55분. 잘 하셨습니다. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.